Hi, welcome to Balanced Health. I'm Shirley Rose, and this is Joe Costello. Today, we're tackling vitamin supplements. What are they? Are they really necessary? After all, if you eat a proper diet, aren't you supposed to be getting all the nutrients you need? Many think that they're sticking with that food pyramid, but how many of you are really eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day? And even if you are taking that much in, are you really storing and preparing the foods properly to ensure that you're getting the maximum benefit? Well, chances are that you're not, which is where vitamin supplements come in. Today, we're consulting our own resident health activist and who I consider an expert on supplements, Joe Costello, and he's going to talk about the pros, cons, and all the confusion about supplements. But first, we do have nutrition in the news, Joe, and actually your nutrition in the news is regarding supplements.
It is.
Amazingly.
One of the key vitamins of the day, Shirley. Today's dose of nutrition in the news deals with vitamin D. It's probably time to revise official advice about how much is enough. We've known for a long time that vitamin D is crucial to bone health, but research is now showing that it's active in many other tissues and may offer some protection against a range of diseases, including cancers. To get this benefit, though, we likely need more than the current recommended amounts. And Shirley, that's not only true with vitamin D, it's true with so many other, and we'll talk about that. But vitamin D, known as the sunshine vitamin, because we can get it from the sun, is starting to play a role. It was always kind of the forgotten vitamin. It was always kind of like, well, we've had it on the list, you know, it's had an RDA, you know, let's just keep it there.
Yeah.
Let me just read a couple quick things if I can about vitamin D and the kind of news that it's making in addition to what we just talked about. Researchers gave evidence that boosting vitamin D intake could help reduce the risk of breast cancer. Now, this is from the American Association for Cancer Research.
Wow.
Another group studied over 1,500 women. Scientists found that risk fell steadily with increasing blood levels of vitamin D. The highest levels correlated with a 50% reduced risk of breast cancer compared with the lowest amounts.
I have not heard that, and that's amazing.
Well, and you know,
that's pretty amazing.
For the mainstream medical community to release studies like that as it relates to vitamins is pretty revelationary in the sense that they're very reticent to do so, and some of it with good cause.
All right, but sure. you know that if this is in the news, if it's been released by the Cancer Society, then there's got to be something to it.
There is, and I'll tell you one thing. When we go into the fall, winter months, there's something called SAD, which is Seasonal Affective Disorder, acronym SAD. And it's because we are getting less light every day. I know many people with this, but one particular person is a dear friend of mine. And from whatever, April to October, he is one person. And when October hits, he is just an entirely different person. And I tried so vigorously to get him to try taking vitamin D with cod liver oil, and he was convinced it was just, you know, phooey, until he saw studies similar to this that were put out by organizations whose names he's recommended, and he tried it, and it just worked. I'll say miracles. You know, the miracles that God created.
I get very sad in October, November when the weather's, but I can't say it's really seasonal depression or anything, but I just hate winter.
Well, especially in women, there's a hormonal change from the change in that light. And that's how to see they're tying this all, because vitamin D really is a type of hormone. So they're tying this all in, especially to women's health. It's very relative to men's health as well. Many people recognize vitamin D with the sun. So again, we try and keep everything balanced here. So some people say, well, if I just get tons of sun, you know, when I get sunburnt and I get black, you know, I'm getting tons of vitamin D. First of all, your body will cap off at how much vitamin D it can absorb from the sun, okay? It will regulate itself.
So whereas we can overdose on vitamin D that we take ourselves, you can't overdose the vitamin D on the sun.
Correct.
You just get sunburned, right?
Yes, and what happens is, and here's a good rule of thumb. First of all, depending on what time of day, you know, closer to noon to less, but a good rule of thumb for getting vitamin D from the sun is about 20 minutes or so. But you can just put your finger on your skin. And if you lift up your finger and it's whiter than the rest of your skin, you're starting to get burnt. And that's the time you really need to get out of the sun. You can go back out, but you need to go inside and completely cool down your body temperature, because what happens is when your skin starts getting burnt, that's when these free radicals on the skin can start having their way, and that's when you get skin cancer.
And it's very dangerous, especially with the ozone layer being diminished and everything. But it also, I'm sure, varies depending on your coloring, your coloration, your complexion. I know, like, you know, my daughter who has Indian and Hispanic blood can certainly stay out in the sun longer than I can. I'm
Right.
German and Irish, you know.
And I'm Mediterranean Italian, so I mean,
Yeah,
we
so you
have
don't
the
sunburn,
olive-complected
really.
skin, and we could take an awful lot of sun. So,
But
we're-
anyway, back to vitamin D. That's one way. But we obviously, especially if you live in Chicago, you don't get enough vitamin D from the sunshine.
No, well, seasonal affective disorder is so prevalent in the Midwest and the Northeast that nobody can question the validity of that illness, because it's just virtually non-existent in the West and in the South.
That is so interesting.
There's a couple things people can do. There's lights, the typical type of lights that are sold out there. They're very expensive, but they last a long time. You could buy them at just about even Home Depot sells them.
Really?
They look like a little curly Q bulb.
Okay.
And they're about $15 for a bulb. So you say, geez, $15 for a bulb, but they last a long time, and it is the closest simulation of sunlight.
But you don't get vitamin D from those lights.
No, you won't get vitamin D from those lights, but as far as the seasonal affective disorder, and I'm on this subject because it's so prevalent.
Yeah.
I have those in my home, and I have them in my office. So in
Really?
my office, I sit under that light all the time.
It's
And then-
cheerier.
It is cheerier.
It's cheerier.
It's a very
right?
white, bright light. And cod liver oil with vitamin D is great to take from like October to April.
Okay.
But what you want to be careful of, many physicians now are taking vitamin D levels. That's where all this testing came. Because they found women with breast cancer had blood levels in the low 30s, 35, and those were the ones that were prone to disease. But you don't want that level to really go above. Here in the study it says 52. I'm thinking more like 50 is about as high as you want that in your blood level. So if you continue to take cod liver oil throughout the summer and get the sunshine,
You're going to get too much.
And let me tell you, overdosing on vitamin D is not a pretty thing.
No,
It's a rough road.
Okay, well, because it's a fat-soluble
It's a
vitamin, and
fat-soluble-
we're going
it
to
hangs
talk
up in
about
the
that.
liver.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. But for more information on today's Nutrition in the News, you can check out www.tln.com and click on Shows and then Balanced Health. Or you can get a copy of today's show by calling 888-242-9393. And up next, will megadosing on vitamin C help you get over a cold quicker and with less Kleenex? Find out after the break.